Wow.
Hey, y'all.
It has been a long time.
We back.
Are we? Like
Tonight. We back
We're
tonight.
back tonight. That's an important distinction. What's up, y'all?
Hey, guys.
We lost our moves. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I never really had any in the first
We're
place,
just
but
chill tonight.
April doesn't have.
Because we just got back.
Oh, is that
so
what
you
it is?
can't be too hyped.
It's like vacation dancing.
Yeah. We're still in summer mode.
What's up, Chimes?
Hey, Chimes.
It's good to see y'all. We have been gone for 2 solid months.
Yes.
And that was actually
It was nice.
very needed,
It was nice.
to be honest
I could just
with
go to bed on a Wednesday night.
you. Right, which is unusual. Because on Wednesdays, normally we're up late with you guys.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? So what's up with y'all? Where y'all at? What's going on? I'm thinking about this, and I think it's funny because we never said anything about the fact that we'd be gone for 2 months. We just bounced. We just
That's
didn't.
okay, though.
Is it?
No, I think you did say something.
Did I?
Yeah, I think you said. I thought you did.
No. I remember 1 week I was saying I was going to say something, and then
you
I
never
didn't.
said
And then we
anything?
just all of a sudden were gone. I mean, we were literally traveling, doing all kinds of stuff, buying cars for our kids, taking them to Oakwood and all that kind of stuff. So there was so much going on, going out of
Yeah.
town and everything.
Yeah.
But anyway, welcome to Ask John and April Live. We're glad that you are here tonight. We're excited about another episode. This is our first one in
Yes.
2 months. And we've got a pretty dope show for you tonight and an exciting guest like we
We're
had
so
before.
excited. Yes.
So a couple things. First of all, if you are new to John and April, you need to say newbie. And we will shout you out. April says you only knew one time. After that, you're a chime.
Yeah, you're a chime after that. So.
Yeah. And don't forget to share this as well. Make sure you share this with somebody and let them know what we are doing here tonight.
Now, we can't banter too long, so
You're right. So let's get right into
let's
something.
get right into something so
First
that
of
we
all,
can move on to the real deal.
I want
okay?
to talk about vacation. April is wearing her vacation braids. Which
Guys, it's only the second time I've had braids. I don't even wear braids like that. It's only my second time.
It's not second because
only my second.
no, because when you broke your thumb, you got braids then.
I don't count that
Why not?
because I had to do it and I didn't like them.
Oh, you're saying this is like your second time doing like vacation braids where
Or I
yeah.
wanted them. I
Okay,
chose
okay,
to.
all right.
When I broke or messed up my finger, I had no
Right.
choice.
So
Yeah.
all black women know that there's no reason to go on vacation if you have to do your hair every day or if you have to cook. So April got braids.
Exactly.
Now, the problem with the braids is, I mean, they're very cute. I love them. There's no issue with them at all for real. But my slight issue with the braids is that people thought, okay, you guys already know if you've watched the show before that people think I'm older than April. I mean, I am older than April, but people think I'm way older than her.
Guys, it's bad. It's really bad.
This time it was terrible. Like, it was literally, first of all, I didn't shave my face. As you can see, I have no hair on my face right
and
now.
he
but
shaved his face because of what happened when we went on vacation.
that is why.
People thought that I was his daughter.
Daughter.
And it's only because I had these braids. That's only because.
Daughter. I don't think
No,
that's the only reason why.
No, that's true because I have gotten that.
You've gotten that
multiple
before.
times. It's really bad though, and it's because your beard or your mustache or whatever is white.
So this is why I wanted to do this little experiment. So the reason I shaved my face for tonight's show is because I want to know from the Chimes, do you think that I look younger like this? Do you think that the gap between what age they think she is and the age they think that I am, is it closer now? You know what I'm saying? Does it look like I'm a year older than her instead of like, I don't know, 30 or whatever it is they're thinking, which thinks I'm her
I think it's
my daughter?
Just because somebody has white hair does not mean. I think that's kind of crazy.
I don't think that's the only
The
thing.
hair
I think there's
should
something
not-
else about me that looks old.
No, that's kind of crazy.
Anyway, whatever the case is,
And
I thought it
do not
was
look
funny.
like somebody's daughter. I mean, you know what I'm saying? That's kind of.
You do.
I think those are just.
You look really young.
I think
though.
those random people. Something's wrong.
I don't know.
Has to be.
Either way,
Anyway, I've enjoyed the Olympics. Have you?
yes. In fact, I'm bored now that they're over.
I wish that they were still. I wish it was 2 weeks. I wish it was a month. Actually,
I'm about to say it is 2
actually.
weeks. It needs to be like 2 months.
Look at Wu
of
talking about you look
Olympics.
10 years older.
You think I look older like this? Oh my
So
goodness.
crazy.
That's hilarious.
But yes, I do miss the Olympics. I wish they were on. It kept me up till midnight every night watching all the stuff. But
yes. So
I loved it.
I want to know the big controversy that everybody was talking about was Jordan Childs.
Childs.
Childs, Chiles. Jordan Childs won bronze, but she did it in dramatic fashion. The Romanian contestant was in the bronze medal position.
Mm-hmm.
Jordan Childs did her routine. At the end, she got a score that was a tenth of a point from winning the bronze, and so
Right.
she wasn't the bronze winner. The other girl won.
Mm-hmm.
Then I guess they appealed because they said that
she
whatever
did
she got docked
actually-
on, she really
right,
did
she
it,
really
and she
did
shouldn't
do
have been
the-
docked. And so
right.
they switched it. So it was literally the girl crying that she won,
She won.
then
and
the girl crying that she lost.
It was that was kind of sad to me to watch that.
Yeah, it was
to see
bad.
her, and you could see the facial expression, the happy tears, and then the sad tears.
Right.
Within seconds. That's
So
a
what-
roller coaster of emotions.
I agree. So
Yeah.
do you think she should keep the bronze?
Who?
Jordan.
Of course.
Oh.
Because she did the routine. She did it. Now
Right.
I'm sad about the Romanian girl. That was really sad.
Do you
But-
think they should have just given them both the bronze?
No, because they didn't get the same points.
No.
I mean, if
Right,
anything, I'd rather them both have it than them take it away from Jordan after giving it to her. Because the Romanian girl didn't have it but for 10 seconds, and they gave it right back. I mean, it wasn't, it's not, I mean, she actually stood on the podium and did the whole thing.
Yeah.
So to take it
pretty
away
bad
from her,
At that
I don't
point.
know.
That's true.
I just think all that's too much. You need to take a little bit more time when you're, doing the scores and all that.
So really, it's the judge's fault.
Yes,
what you're saying.
exactly.
I agree. All right. So this episode is brought to you by Naturally Man.
Yes. So today's episode is brought to you, do you say brought to you by?
Yeah.
Okay.
Why not?
Naturally.
That's what they say on TV.
Do they?
Yep,
Brought to
yeah.
you by- oh, yeah,
Brought to you by Naturally Man.
Oh, yeah. That's right. I don't know why it sounded different.
This is a supplement that we use, and it's amazing.
Guys, it is amazing. A natural, complete supplement designed to boost your performance both in the gym and the bedroom.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm telling you, it works.
It does.
This powerful supplement enhances energy levels, sharpens mental clarity, and supports physical performance, ensuring you have the stamina for both your workouts and your personal life.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not just for men, women. Even though it says naturally man, we can take it too.
This is the biggest thing about
Okay.
this I didn't like, because I bought this for me. And I was like, yes, I have something. And then I was like doing
I was
this as
kind
a
of jealous
pre-workout.
watching him.
And April's like, why do you have all this energy? I'm like, this new supplement. She was like, can I take it? I said, it says man on the bottle. No, you cannot take it.
But we happen to know the guy.
And
who,
he said,
Dr.
yes.
Q.
It's
And Dr.
definitely
Q
for women
said yes.
too. I was like, what?
Yes, and many have reported great results after incorporating Naturally Man into their routine. So order today at naturallyman.com and use promo CHIMES10 to get 10% off, and you'll be very happy. Let me tell you, my workouts, guys, next level. No lie, I'm not even joking. It is so good.
We actually we started doing a new workout regimen. We completed the entire 3 months. We're doing it again now. It's
So
called Dig Deeper.
You
It's
got to do Dig Deeper.
It's a weightlifting
Yes.
thing.
You want some weight.
And
You want some
it
muscles.
really, really, really does help.
So get your
We've been
Naturally
enjoying
Man
ourselves.
using CHIMES10.
You see right there, www.naturaleman.com. Chimes 10.
You'll be happy.
You will. All right, y'all. So we have a guest tonight. Actually, we were supposed to have guests tonight, but something happened. I don't know. She may share it. We'll see. But we're excited because this is a guest that we've had before. And when we had her on the show 2 years ago, she literally changed our entire lives. Now, she changed our lives before we had her on the show. We read her book. It's called The Great Sex Rescue.
And you all know that book because
We've
about
talked
it
about it a
often.
million times
Yes.
on here, and we had her on the show, and we actually did an encore presentation of that, episode maybe a month ago or something like that, maybe 2 months ago. So you guys should be aware of who this is. Her name is Sheila Gregoire. You know what?
Yes.
If that's a real tongue twister, you put the Ray in there. Sheila Gregoire is
Very
her
good,
name.
Very good.
What are you
Yes.
going to read, babe?
So Sheila has been writing about sex and marriage since 2008. But since January of 2019, she and her team have undertaken the largest and most comprehensive studies ever done on evangelical women's marital and sexual satisfaction, which people do not talk about
They don't.
at all.
Right. Not in
Okay.
the church.
Their groundbreaking survey of 20,000 women identified which common teachings in the evangelical church are making marriages and sex lives worse, not better.
Wow.
Today, their mission is to help couples and individuals undergo a great sex rescue by shedding those damaging messages and replacing them with evidence-based, biblical, healthy teaching. So we are so happy to welcome Sheila Gregoire to the show.
Hi, Sheila.
Hi, Sheila.
Hello, it's great to be here.
Good to see
Thank
you
you so
again
much
after
for
2
coming.
years.
Yeah. And thanks for that great intro, too. I totally think they should both get the medal, by the way.
Oh, do you?
Oh, do you?
Yes.
So tell us
Totally
why.
think.
I'd love to hear
tell us
that.
why.
Because no one's ever had the medal taken away, like, unless they were doping or, like, did something wrong. And she didn't do anything wrong. And it was a
True.
judge's error. So,
That's a good
yeah.
point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've heard of people sharing gold medals recently. There was something
Yeah.
like it happens all the time in high
The
jump
high
and
jump, yep.
pole vault and stuff
Yeah.
like that. So I don't know why they
Mhm.
couldn't do that
Well, that's what I was saying. If
I
they were
think-
going to
I
do
think that would be
something,
right.
they both should get it rather than
taking
somebody
it away.
taking it away
Yeah.
again. Like,
Absolutely.
Well, Sheila's spoken. Maybe it'll happen. Who knows?
There you go.
Yeah. They're still talking about it, so
They
you
are.
never know.
Thanks for being on the show. So it turns out when we had you on 2 years ago, we asked you a question. I asked a question about you had surveyed 20,000 women, 20,000 Christian women about the questions that you were asking about sexual satisfaction and stuff. And I think I asked, how come you didn't also interview men? We knew the answer, but we wanted you to say it again. And
Right.
you said we did interview men and it's coming out in this book. And you pulled up a book and the book said,
Yes.
The Good Guy's Guide to Great Sex. And we said, whoa, where'd that come from? And we vowed then we have to have her on the show again once we read that book.
With her husband.
Yes.
Yeah. I don't think I have. You know what? I don't have the good guys guide. I have the good girls guide here. But I don't have the good guys. Isn't that
You don't
dumb?
even
I don't
have
know
it.
where- Yeah.
So we asked if you and your husband would come on the show. You agreed, and here we are. But of course, it's just you on the screen right now.
Yeah, we had a family accident, and my 2-year-old broke her leg like a couple hours ago, and so
Oh
my
my
husband's in the
goodness.
emerge with her and
Really
her
sorry
parents.
about that.
But yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, we're sorry about that, but we're thankful that you came
We're
on
really happy you
anyway
came
because you
anyway.
didn't have to.
Yeah.
And we thought that was very big of you that in a situation like this, you still came onto the show and are here. And the Chimes are excited, so we're glad that you're here. And we hope that we know this is going to be one of those things that will actually be groundbreaking like the other book was. So this book is slightly different in that you're basically talking to men about how to prioritize their wives in the bedroom is basically how I would summarize what this book is really about. Is that true?
Yeah, well, like for Great Sex Rescue, what we were trying to do was say, look, this is where everybody said stuff that was stupid and that didn't work and that actually hurt people. And
Right.
let's look at all the stupid stuff people said. Let's look at why it doesn't work. Let's look at why it's harmful and let's see what we could say instead. So we're tearing stuff down so that we can build it back up. With Good Guy's Guide to Great Sex and its companion, Good Girl's Guide to Great Sex, we're saying, okay, forget the tearing down. If we were just going to build something healthy from the ground up, what would it look like? And so that's what we did. We're going to just build it healthy from the ground up. And our prayer is that these books become like the bridal shower gifts, you know, and
Yeah.
engagement gifts. Because if everybody buys these books for newlyweds, nobody will need the Great Sex Rescue in 10 years. And that's what we want. We want to
Wow.
make it so our book becomes obsolete because people are starting off with good information. So
I love that. I
Yeah.
love
That kind of reminds me of April and I learning how to play golf. It's a very difficult sport. We didn't know anything about it. Instead of getting lessons, we just went out and just started playing and got all these bad habits.
Yeah.
And now we've gotten lessons, but we still have the bad habits because it's really hard to
Right.
get that stuff that was ingrained. So what
Yeah,
you're saying is Great Sex
Right.
Rescue won't even be necessary if people start off getting
Yeah.
lessons by by getting
expert.
those 2 books from the experts on how to have great sex.
Right.
Yeah, and just and how not to get the really toxic messaging and not to internalize a lot of the stuff that we hear. And so for guys especially, you know, sex is just easier if we judge sex by orgasm, right? So if we judge sex by orgasm and by pleasure, sex, meaning intercourse, tends to be easier. And so it's really easy for guys to think, well, I know how to do this. So what's wrong with you? And I'm really good at sex. I really like sex because sex is working for me. So you must be the problem. And what we're asking people to do is take a step back and say, no. Sex is about an experience that you both share.
Yeah.
And it needs to be something intimate, pleasurable for both, and mutual if it's going to work.
Yeah.
So, people assume that couples who write about sex and talk about sex, have always had their sex lives
Mhm.
together, like
Yes.
together,
Yes.
like right. And so, can you share your early experience with sex in your marriage and, tell us how you guys got to this point where you began talking about it and teaching?
Yeah, when we do sex talks and marriage conferences, we always joke that people only write and speak in the areas of their lives that have been the biggest challenges, because if
Mm,
everything's easy, you don't have anything to say.
Mm,
true.
Right? Because, like, how do you if there's something, it's like, I can't explain to anyone how to tread water. I just tread water. Like, what do you
right,
mean? It's
Right.
easy. Like, try to tell someone how to ride a bike. Well, you just ride a bike. Like,
right.
I don't know, you just ride, like, if you know how to do something, it's actually quite difficult to,
Yeah.
To
to
explain it,
get
to teach it.
down.
Yeah.
But when you've had issues with something and you've
Mhm.
had to figure it out and you've had to go back to first principles and you've had to learn, then you have stuff to share. And that's what we went through. We had a terrible first couple of years, like, just awful.
Wow.
I had vaginismus, which is a sexual pain disorder.
Mm,
It's really common in evangelical women. We have about 2.5 times the rate as the general population.
wow.
And a lot of our studies have been trying to figure out why, and we've
Mm,
got some good ideas on that. Um, but I had vaginismus, so sex hurt. He experienced that as a rejection. Nobody had told me that this even existed.
yeah.
So we didn't know what to do about it. They didn't really have pelvic floor physiotherapists back then.
Mm.
So it was really a big struggle. And he wanted it all the time. He felt unloved. I felt unloved
Mm-hmm.
because he wanted it. Like, it was just all a huge big
Yeah.
mess. And it
Wow.
took us a while to, just to unravel that deep knot. Mhm.
Wow. Wow.
So you would characterize this as something that went on for just the first couple of years, or how deep into your marriage were you still sort of grappling with this?
I think, the crisis was kind of those first 5 years, but, I mean, we're still learning things. You learn things when you go through menopause and
True.
things
Yeah.
change,
Right.
and just when you get to different stages in life, I think that's what it should be, that it's always a learning experience, because we're all growing. We're all
Yeah.
Yeah.
changing.
Right.
Yeah.
Um, your life changes when the kids move out, and you get a little bit more freedom, but your life changes when there's more stress in your life or whatever. And
Mm-hmm.
so sometimes sex is just to celebrate passion. Sometimes sex is what you turn to because you're stressed.
Mm.
Sometimes sex, you
Mm,
go through a couple of years where sex is your comfort space.
mm.
So it doesn't always have the same meaning, but it's because it's expressing where you are as a couple. And
Yeah.
so I think
Yeah.
that's where the growth comes in. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. That's
So
great.
we were impacted by several aspects of the book, and one of the things was you kind of talked about Genesis 4:1 at the very beginning of the book.
Mhm.
This word knew, how God, the Bible says that Adam knew his wife Eve, which
Mm.
sounds
Mhm.
kind of funny.
Yeah.
Like, what do you
Yeah.
mean knew?
Yeah.
What is that word? There's something wrapped up in that, I think. Can you share that with us? Why is that new thing such a thing? Like, if we understand what that means, like,
Mhm.
what does it tell us about God's intention for sex in marriage and all that?
Yeah, I think it's really easy to read that verse and assume, "Oh, God is just embarrassed of talking about sex,
Mm.
and so God
Yeah.
just not
Yeah.
gonna use the word." But I think there's something else going on there, because the Hebrew root of the word to know, to knew, that is used there, is the same as you find over and over again in the Psalms when David says, "Search me and know me, O God, know
Yeah,
my inmost heart."
Mm.
right.
When David is calling out to be fully and utterly known. And that is such a deep intimacy.
Mhm.
And
Mm.
in a way, it's a nakedness, isn't it?
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
Like,
Yeah. Yeah.
he wanted to be completely naked before God,
mhm,
metaphorically.
yeah.
Yeah.
Like, "God, know everything about me. I'm not gonna hold anything back. I'm not gonna put any masks on. I want you to know me inside and out."
Mhm,
And then God uses that same word to talk about the sex act.
mhm,
Mm.
And so I think he's telling us this is what sex is supposed to be.
mhm,
It is this deep knowing. It is not a
Mm.
using of each other's bodies. It is
mm,
not just something
Mm.
which I use to self-soothe or to emotionally regulate or to feel like a man or to feel desired or whatever. Those there can be certain aspects of that are in there, but it really is about, I want to completely know you and
mhm.
experience you. And that means that both of you matter.
Yeah.
And we talk so much about sex as being about a man's needs that a woman needs to provide. And that is completely the opposite of this phrasing that the Bible uses, that it's a deep intimacy.
Yeah.
Because if it's intimate, both of you matter.
Yeah. Yeah.
Both of you need to show up. And both of you, what you want, what you desire matters. Because if it doesn't, if it's just about someone's needs so they have a right to my body, then it's not a knowing. It's an owing. It's an erasing of you as a person because it's
Yeah.
saying your needs, your wants, your desires, your thoughts don't matter.
Right.
Wow.
Yeah.
That is so true. And when you say knowing someone, you have to be, and you all talk about this, vulnerable in order to get to know
Mhm.
or to know. You have to
Mhm.
be vulnerable with the person. And so
Yeah.
tell us more about, you say that vulnerability equals great sex.
Yeah. We wrote that
Yeah.
down.
Yeah,
We took
why?
notes
I mean, that
immediately.
is really like,
Yeah. Yeah.
like, what does that mean?
I think one of the reasons that we have so many sex shops in the world right now is really because people are missing vulnerability. And so they have
Mm.
intercourse and they know something's missing and they think, "Oh, I just need to make it hotter. And so I'll go buy something," right? So you go to the store, you get whatever it might be, right? Or I'll just watch something because we need to make it hotter. And what they're not realizing is that they're missing this aspect of being completely and utterly naked before each other,
Mm.
and not just physical, yes,
Right.
physical,
Right.
but that I am really naked because you can have sex and not be vulnerable at all.
Mm-hmm.
You can be holding back a lot. A lot of people have sex in order to feel close, but they're not willing to do the work of connection. So they're
Yeah.
having sex to connect without doing the work of connection. Michael John Cusick talks
Wow.
about this a lot. But, think about what that means is that, I feel like, yeah, if we have sex, I feel close to you, so I'm okay. I think everything's okay. But meanwhile, I haven't shared anything about what's going on in my heart. I haven't, you know nothing about my fears. You don't know emotionally what's going on with me. And so that's not real intimacy. And it feels
Mm.
empty. Because
Yeah.
when you have intercourse with someone and you're not actually sharing who you are, it feels empty. You might have
Mm.
a great orgasm, but it doesn't feel right.
Yeah.
And so we need to learn how to actually connect if we're going to have great sex.
Wow.
Wow. That's good.
So, your husband's a doctor. You said he's a pediatrician.
Yes.
And so I don't
So he
know
knows
if
all about toddlers' broken legs. Poor guy. Poor guy.
Poor
Yeah.
guy. So what I was wondering, so there were parts of the book where he kind of seemed to delve into the scientific aspects.
Not kind of. He really
He really does.
got
It's a
into
whole
it.
chapter on it, really. You know what I'm saying? About, our body parts and things like that,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
and the different kinds of things that the body is producing for us to feel certain things. And he talked about oxytocin.
Mhm.
There was something he was saying something about oxytocin making us feel more connected.
Mhm.
I wanted to understand that better.
Mm-hmm.
What is that like? What's behind that?
Yeah, so oxytocin is a hormone that the body releases in lots of different times. So women release it a ton when you're breastfeeding. It's
Okay.
called the bonding hormone, so it just makes you feel, lovey-dovey and close to someone. We release it with with kissing, but especially with orgasm. And so when
Mm.
when you do have sex and when you do orgasm, you feel bonded to one another.
Mm.
And that's the way that we were created, was to feel that bonding. And that's what sex is supposed to do for us. And so it is really neat. Like, we did find, and we've surveyed over 38,000 people now in all of our surveys, but
Wow.
people with great marriages tend to have great sex lives because the
Mm.
sex comes out of this connection, and then the
Yeah.
sex feeds the connection.
Yeah.
Sex in and of itself can't create a great marriage.
Hmm.
But great marriages tend to have really good sex lives,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
they do, and then they feed each other. It feeds each other, and it's a lovely, it's that lovely cycle everybody wants to get on.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Exactly. I agree
Exactly.
with
Yeah,
you.
we talk about how when the marriage is not right, the sex isn't right. It's
Right.
just,
Mhm.
it's hard, and I guess it goes back to that whole vulnerability and
Yeah.
all of the connection that you have.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, so go ahead. I know you wanted to ask this question.
Okay. So, um, April likes it when I ask questions that, involve the word penis or clitoris.
Okay.
I don't have to say it. I don't get it.
She says I say it more scientifically, or it sounds more whatever.
he
I
does
don't
a great
know.
job
I don't know why she
explaining
says that, but so there was a part of the book where it basically said that the penis has multiple jobs. The penis is where the man is going to feel his pleasure, and that's how he's going to orgasm. The part of the body that does the same for the wife is the clitoris, or clitoris. I don't know how you. I think we had this conversation last time. Which way do you
did.
pronounce it? You said it doesn't matter. I think, but anyway. But I thought this was very interesting. You said the clitoris has only one job. Like, it doesn't have multiple. Like, the only thing it does is bring pleasure.
Right. I actually did not know that. I mean,
I didn't either.
Like, you're thinking that it probably does something else. I mean, you're just thinking that,
probably has another function.
Yeah.
So here's my real question, and I don't know if you're gonna get at what I'm feeling, but okay. So in the church, we have many things. Let me say it differently. For whatever reason, Christian people, I find, are a lot more comfortable with things when they have a utilitarian function. In other words, we're not really comfortable with the idea that God created something just for beauty.
Right.
Or we're not comfortable with the idea that God created something, just to feel good. It has to have a function too. Like, what does it do? And the fact that the clitoris only is about feeling good, that hit me hard. I was like, oh my goodness. That means God was deliberately trying to help us to enjoy this thing. Anyway, I don't know if that's what you guys are getting at, but tell us more about this whole thing. What is it about the clitoris only having one function?
Yeah, it's not just it only has one function. It's that he didn't stick it up there.
Right.
He put it on the outside. So God should be telling us something. Okay.
Right.
And I really want people to hear me on this. So, we talked about this with the Great Sex Rescue, and we talked about it a lot in both Good Girls Guide to Great Sex and Good Guys Guide to Great Sex. But we have a 47-point orgasm gap in the church. Okay, so among evangelical couples, by which I mean that 95% of men almost always reach orgasm in a given sexual encounter, but the equivalent number for women is only 48%. So that's a lot of women who are not having that much fun. Now, if we break it down more, of the women who do reach orgasm, only about 40% can do that through intercourse. Okay, everybody else needs other kinds of stimulation, a lot of it.
Yeah.
Okay, and other routes to orgasm tend to be more reliable. So here's the thing. If I were to ask you what the definition of sex is, you would probably describe something resembling intercourse. But if that's our definition of sex, then we're just going to cement that orgasm gap.
Yep.
Because for a lot, we're saying we want you all to do something where he's guaranteed an orgasm and she's not.
Yeah.
So we need to think differently about this. We need to say, no. It's not about just intercourse. Sex is any sexual experience that you share that is mutual, where you're both feeling pleasure. And it's going to look differently. And I think that God put the clitoris on the outside, although the majority of the clitoris is on the inside. It's actually quite a large organ, and most of it is on the inside, but that the little accessible part is on the outside, not up the vagina.
Right.
Because men are supposed to serve women.
Right.
This is you spend your whole life often in serving and all kinds of functions like that, and we don't spend enough time just on ourselves. And so God's saying, hey, right now, this is the time where you get to focus on her.
Wow.
And we don't tend to do that, because you think about a couple who gets married, and maybe they've waited for marriage for sex, maybe they haven't, but whatever, maybe things have been kind of furtive or whatever, but you have sex and it's easy for him. And he starts to think, well, you're just not sexual. What's wrong with you? And she starts to feel, I must be broken, because I don't feel that, it doesn't feel that great for me. And I don't even understand what all the fuss is about. In our surveys, we asked men and women, does he do enough foreplay? Okay. So does he do enough foreplay? And when women frequently reach orgasm, okay, then I think it's like 96% of men say, yes, I do enough foreplay. And I think it's about 88% of women agree. So good. Okay. So that's quite a bit.
Mhm.
But when she doesn't reach orgasm, 71% of men still say they do enough foreplay. But so do
Wow.
52% of women.
Oh,
Mm.
interesting.
So what that's telling me is that we have so told women
Wow.
that your needs don't really matter. And if something isn't working, it's probably your fault.
Mm.
And she
You
believes it.
need to fix it.
Yeah.
And
Mhm.
she's internalized that. And she's thinking, I'm broken
Mm.
or I'm just not sexual.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because they haven't figured out that her body works differently from his. And just because intercourse is easy for him does not mean that he is more sexual than she is.
Wow.
Just because he may feel like he wants sex more than she does not mean that he's more sexual.
Mhm.
Her libido may not have awakened because she doesn't have much to look forward to. Okay.
Right.
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 So we've got to give her something to look forward to. We've got to figure out how everything works for her.
Remember we told our couples that at the last thing that we did, we said that very thing. Don't assume that your wife wants it less than you. She just may not be looking forward to it because
Right.
there's nothing to look forward to.
Nothing to look
There's
forward
nothing
to.
to look forward to. Exactly. Exactly.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's bad. That's bad. We
It is
definitely
bad.
want to change that.
Yes, we do.
Definitely. So we get many couples who complain that their spouse almost never initiates.
We get this.
That's
This is
one of the top.
This is one of the top complaints, and it's not just men.
No, it's not just men.
The last time it was a woman that came to me and said that her
Yes.
husband never initiates and whatever. We get that
Right.
a lot.
We do. So how might understanding our response cycles,
Because
all
you guys talked
talked
about this in the
that,
book. Right? We didn't know about
impact
this.
that perception?
Yeah. Okay. So let's talk about libido for a minute
Okay.
Okay.
because I think we have a different view of what libido looks like. I think we have an inaccurate view.
Mm.
So if you watch any movie, TV show, Netflix streaming thing, and it comes to sex, the plot will be exactly the same. Okay. And it looks like this, right? So the couple is together
Mhm.
and they're panting.
Yep.
Mhm.
And so they start to kiss and the clothes come off and they end up in bed.
Right.
Right.
Right. And that's pretty much what it looks like. So they panting and then they're kissing and the clothes come off, they end up in bed. So that's what we think that sex is. And that's what we think libido is: pant, kiss, close, bed.
Yeah.
Right. Like that's what it goes, pant, kiss,
Right.
close, bed. And so there you are at home and you're waiting to pant.
Mm.
And nothing's happening. And so you figure, well, I guess I'm just not in the mood. But what if sex doesn't look like that for everybody?
Mm.
What if for some people it's more like, clothes, pajamas, brush my teeth, get in
Snuggie.
bed,
Oh
snuggle.
my goodness.
Like, what if the panting comes later?
Mm.
And that's what happens for a lot of people. Now, Emily Nagoski in her book Come As You Are talks about two different kinds of libido: more responsive and spontaneous. It's kind of more complicated than that, and she's elaborated on that more in her newer book. But let's just go with those because I think people can understand them.
Mhm.
But some people just have this felt need for sex first. Like they're just raring to go right
Yeah.
away. And some people really aren't raring to go until later. So if we think about something called the sexual response cycle, there's several different phases that you have to pass through. So there's excitement, when you're starting to breathe a little bit faster, your heart rate starting to go up, you're starting to feel tingly. Then there's arousal, where for women, you're starting to get more lubrication in the genitals. Your clitoris actually gets erect, your nipples get erect, etc. Then you get plateau, which is right before orgasm, where you feel like, okay, I'm about there. Then you get orgasm, and then you have resolution. And what women want in each of those stages is different. What men want
Mm.
isn't necessarily that different because the stimulation that gets men to orgasm is pretty much the same. And excitement, arousal plateau look pretty similar for men. You get an erection, it just simply gets harder and thicker as you go along, but it doesn't look that different. For women, it actually looks very different. And you'll read these marriage manuals, which will tell you that she likes clitoral stimulation.
Right.
And so you're like, well, we're going to have sex. So I'm just going to go right for the clitoris because that's what she likes. And if you go for the clitoris before she's even excited, before she's even aroused, it feels like a pap smear. Okay?
And
It
you
is
love pap smears, right,
not
babe?
it
That's
is not
true.
pleasurable. It feels like your feet are up in the stirrups, like it is not okay, if you go for the clitoris when she's not thinking about sex,
Right.
when she's not
That
like
is
that,
so
and
true.
she's not but this can happen. So you read this marriage manual that says women like clitoral stimulation, so you're going and you're
You're like, oh
trying,
yeah.
and she's like, and she's like, no,
Yeah.
no, no, let's just go right to intercourse because she's like, this is terrible, and so she figures, well, I guess my body's broken. But what they
Wow.
haven't learned is in the excitement phase when she's just warming up, that's when you're kissing, you're touching, you're stroking her arm, you're nibbling on her ear, you're doing all the nice things, you're talking, you're cuddling, you're giving her a massage. And then when she
Mm.
gets aroused, then you can go. Then you can go for for
Yes.
the breasts, for the genitals, for the
Yes.
erogenous
Yes.
zones. But don't go for the erogenous zones too early. But then when you get to plateau, what she wants is exactly the same stimulation at exactly the same time, at exactly the same depth.
Ah.
Don't tease me. Don't the
Right.
teasing is for the
Right.
arousal. And so often, guys will be doing something and then they'll back off. It's like, stop, don't stop, just exactly the same thing.
Yeah,
Right,
right,
right.
right.
Exact same thing. And then you get to orgasm. And so like what you need at each stage is very different, but people don't always understand this.
Yeah.
And so they think, well, she's just broken. And so when it comes to initiating,
Wow.
if you're someone who's got a more responsive libido and your spouse doesn't understand that and you initiate, they may think, well, she's saying or he's saying that we want to go right at it. And maybe she'd actually be happy having sex tonight, but she wants to start further back. If I say that I might be interested in sex, it doesn't mean that I want to go right there. It means, hey, let's talk, let's massage each other, let's let's snuggle some.
Yeah.
Right.
But the person can feel rejected then, like, well, you don't really want sex, and so then the initiation can stop because you're not understanding
Wow.
how you each work. Or a guy can stop initiating because he's tired of being turned down. So he's like, well, when you want it, you come ask.
Wow.
And so a lot of men stop initiating. But if she's got a more responsive libido, that just puts a lot of pressure on her. And what that means is she's got to carry the entire emotional labor for our sex life now.
Wow.
Oh man.
This is very interesting, Sheila. April and I give this advice a lot that we think couples should be more comfortable communicating with each other about things related to the bedroom. And of course, we're 90% of the time talking to Christian couples and they struggle with that. But now I feel like there's a whole new layer because if the wife basically already feels like something's wrong with her or, her body's broken, talking isn't enough, is it? I mean, is it enough to just be communicative with each other about it? I mean, I'm trying to figure out where a couple like that would actually start. Now, clearly, where they should start is by getting your books. Then they'll be absolutely fine. But if they don't have that option, what is a couple to do when the husband probably thinks his wife is broken, and so does she?
She does too. Yeah.
Well, take intercourse off the table for a little bit. You know what? Go back to the stuff you know how to do.
Wow.
Right? Like, what did you used to do that was fun? Did you kiss a lot? Go back to
Yeah.
kissing a lot.
Wow.
Let her realize that her body can wake up. And often if this has been going on for years, you may need to take intercourse off the table for like a couple of weeks, couple of months, even 90 days, and just give her the freedom to figure out what it looks like for libido to grow. and to know, okay, I actually like being touched. Learn how to bring her to orgasm in other ways.
Yeah.
Because often when it feels like it's rushed or like this is just, foreplay is just the price of admission and we're going to do it because
Yeah.
we have to, but we're not really like, then she feels like I'm being in position. I'm taking too long. He thinks I'm taking too long. I am taking too long. And so think about
Oh
Think about
man.
it. If you've
Yeah.
got those messages running through your head, how
Yeah.
much are you really going to enjoy sex?
Yeah.
So if you can just go back to first principles and figure out what feels good, I think that's the most important thing.
And I love that, but I know there's some, a lot of men that watch our show that are not going to like the fact that we just had someone tell them to take 90 days worth of to take a break
Okay,
for 90
but
days.
let me say this.
Just being
If
stupid.
you've been married for 10 years and you've been having sex, let's say you've had sex like even once or twice a week for 10 years.
Right.
Okay? How many orgasms have you had? And
Men?
how many that she had? Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. That's a very good point.
You know?
She may have 10
Yeah.
years of no orgasms, and you may have 10 years of every single time.
That's true.
Yeah. And even if you feel like you haven't been getting sex as much as you want, if she hasn't been reaching orgasm, or even if she has been reaching orgasm, but afterwards she feels used, because there's no intimacy and he's been watching a lot of porn or something, and so she feels used, then she's basically been living in a sexless marriage.
Wow.
So you
Wow.
may feel like you haven't gotten enough sex,
Right.
but what's she been going through?
Yeah.
And so let's get back to what it's supposed to be.
Yeah.
One of the most frustrating emails I ever got was from a guy. I think it was a comment on my blog actually, and he said I was talking about women who, did feel a lot of shame about their bodies and who didn't necessarily like foreplay, but who weren't reaching orgasm. And I was trying to encourage these women to, let their husbands explore their bodies, like figure out what works. And he said, I would love to do that for my wife, but she's just not interested. We've been married 17 years and she just won't, we still have sex 3 times a week, but she won't let me do anything for her. And I'm like, okay, if you've been married for 17 years and you've been having sex 3 times a week and she is not reaching orgasm and you're saying it's your wife's fault, no, it's not. Because
Right.
why? If you know she's not experiencing pleasure and you're still using her anyway, that's not
Wow.
okay. And then you're saying it's her fault. No, that's not okay.
Wow.
Wow.
You got to take a
Wow.
step back and
Yeah.
you got to say, how do we make this for both of us?
Right,
Did you
right.
respond to that guy that way? Because he deserved
Yeah,
it.
I did. And that
Good for
email,
you.
I think that email is in the Good Guys Guide. I think I put it in.
Oh.
Oh, did you?
But like you can't, because it's not just going to magically get better.
Yeah. Yeah.
And the cumulative effect of a woman having sex where she feels no pleasure for years is going to blow up in people's faces.
Yeah.
Because
Wow.
we found in our surveys is that you can put up with that for like 10 years, maybe 15, maybe 17 in this woman's case, but
That's a long
eventually
time.
you break and marriages just become totally sexless or they fall apart
Yeah.
because she feels used and she
Yeah.
feels like you just want my body. You don't actually care about me, because having someone get ultimate pleasure from your body when you feel nothing or you feel a little bit of pain or you feel tired, but you're just not into it, is not a pleasurable experience.
No.
It's actually quite it's like erasing you as a person. You feel
Yeah.
like you can feel like a sex toy that he's using. So it's not okay. And we have to figure out how to make sex something which is mutual and intimate and pleasurable for
Definitely.
both.
Man.
Yeah.
Wow. Well, we're kind of talking about frequency and, the amount of times or whatever. And you mentioned that sexual frequency is like a thermometer.
Mhm.
So can you
Mhm.
explain that?
Okay,
Yeah,
so
because
what's the main issue that people always complain about with sex, right?
we
Like
don't do it
Not
enough.
having enough. Yeah.
we're not having
Yeah.
enough. And if you go to a lot of marriage counselors, and they're trying to figure out if your sex life is good, they'll say, how often do you have sex?
Yeah.
And they'll pick it up. Okay, they have sex twice a week. That's good.
Yeah.
But that means nothing. Okay? That means nothing. Because 18% of women in our survey said their primary emotion after sex is feeling used.
18% said that?
Wow.
Whoa.
18%. We have 47.
And these are Christian women that you're surveying. Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
So just because you're having sex doesn't mean anything. The question
Exactly.
is there sex which makes you feel closer afterwards and which is pleasurable? That's the question.
Yeah.
And and you know, when you have sex and you feel used afterwards, sex is actually something which makes you feel further apart from one another. Like
Yeah,
if
that's
your
a good point.
primary emotion is feeling used, your marriage would be better if you didn't have sex.
Right.
Wow.
Right. Oh my goodness.
Right? So
Wow.
sex doesn't cure
Wow.
everything. We need so sex and frequency is about libido. So you know how often people actually want sex.
Mm-hmm.
And libido is a symptom of what is going on in the marriage. So I'm going to list 5 things for you, okay? Are you ready? I'm
Okay.
going
Okay.
to list 5
Yeah.
things. Here we go. When women frequently reach orgasm,
Yep.
when there's high marital satisfaction,
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
so they feel close, mental load, emotional labor, housework is shared. When she feels emotionally connected during sex, so she doesn't feel used. When there's no porn use in the marriage, and when
Mm-hmm.
there's no sexual dysfunction, libido and frequency take care of themselves.
Wow.
Wow.
So we need to stop talking about frequency as a problem to solve. And
Mhm.
we need to stop saying, how can we get her to have more sex? And we need to start saying, why is it that she doesn't want it? What's
Mm-hmm.
going on? Which of those 5 things, or maybe there's multiples of them,
Exactly.
is going on? And it might be him that doesn't want sex as much. So
Mm-hmm.
which of those 5 things is going on with him?
Right. Right.
You know, and it doesn't always mean there's something wrong with the marriage. Please hear me on this one because this is
Okay.
really important.
Okay.
You could not feel emotionally connected during sex for reasons that have nothing to do with your spouse.
Mm.
Mm.
Right? Maybe oh gosh, I'm sorry.
No problem.
Here, I thought
We're
my do not
assuming
disturb
we're
is
assuming
on.
this is news about the baby.
Right.
Yes,
You know,
my
good
do not
news.
disturb is on, so I don't know why that's happening. But anyway. Um, okay, what was I saying? Oh my gosh. Okay. I'm sorry. I'm gonna text
It's
her
okay.
and I will just say
No
I'm
problem
in
at all.
okay. Um, sorry about that. Okay, frequency of 5 things. Oh, the reason that you don't
Oh
feel emotionally
yes.
connected. Yes, maybe you're a victim of sexual assault,
Right.
Yes.
or maybe
Yeah.
you're a victim of childhood sexual abuse,
Yes.
Right.
right? The numbers for that for both men and women are astronomically high. That can really affect
Mm.
how you see sex,
Mhm.
right? And you can have trauma from that. There are such great therapies now, like groundbreaking trauma therapies, EMDR. There's all kinds of things that can help you break some of those trauma triggers and can
Mm.
really bring a lot of healing. So please get help if that's you. It could be that you've internalized a lot of these negative messages about sex, like we
Yeah.
found in Great Sex Rescue.
Yeah.
Yes.
So, you know, you could have a spouse who doesn't want you to feel obligated to have sex, who wants sex to be something which is totally free and mutual, but you feel obligated, and
Mm.
that's making you feel, you know, used, even
Yeah.
if your spouse isn't doing this to you. So it
Yeah.
doesn't mean that there's
Right.
something wrong with the marriage, but
Mm.
it does mean there's a question we've got to look at. There's something
Yeah.
we've got to look
Wow.
at.
Yeah.
And if one of you has trauma in your past, if one of you has internalized toxic messages, that's something for both
Mhm.
of you to work on together because you're a
Mm.
couple now. So what can you do to support each other to get through that and to disentangle from all of that?
Yeah.
That's so good
That's really,
because
really
usually
good.
we point to one thing,
Right.
something's in the marriage. You know,
Right.
the wife's not
Yeah.
doing something good, or the
Right.
husband, or
Mhm.
you know, they're not fulfilling each other in other areas.
Mhm.
But this, I mean, there are
Doesn't have
more
to be that.
things. It's deeper. It can be
Right.
deeper than that.
Yeah.
So you can
Mhm.
actually be enjoying your marriage, but still having issues in the bedroom
Mhm.
because there are
Yeah.
other things, and it could
Mhm.
be
Other
past
baggage.
traumas and baggage
Yeah.
and like you even
Yeah.
said, the teachings from that you were brought up with
Mhm.
could be
Mhm.
affecting you.
Mhm.
I mean, we
Mhm.
had a couple that was going through something like that, and they had a great marriage, but the young lady was just like, you know, she had so many negative view about sex, period.
It was mostly shame-based
And it was
stuff.
shame based, and it
Mhm.
made her feel, you know, nasty or
Mhm.
bad or
Mhm.
whatever
Mhm.
when they were having sex. And it's just crazy because you wouldn't think that a Christian marriage would be going through that. But
Mhm.
it's
Yeah.
more than just, you know,
It's really complicated sometimes.
it is.
Yeah.
It
So
is.
Yeah.
so
So
we're
this
we're
is
we're
good.
running
This
out of
is good.
time, and we want to ask you to give us an alphabet advice, but we have one more question first
Mhm.
before that. There was a phrase that you use in the book that we had never heard before. It made sense to us, but the phrase was betrayal trauma. And
Mhm.
I
Mhm.
think what you said in the book was that sometimes betrayal trauma can keep a woman from orgasming. or from having
Yes.
orgasm.
And this was
Right.
so good to me. So just talk
Yeah.
about
Tell us
it.
about that a little bit.
Yes.
Yeah, so if your spouse, and betrayal trauma can be felt by either person, but it's
course.
really
Mhm.
common if your spouse is a chronic porn user, which does tend to be more men than women, but it doesn't mean that it's only men.
Right.
So
Right.
women can be chronic porn users too. But if your spouse has used porn, and that's affected how they see sex, how they see you, how they see other women, that can cause symptoms that are very similar to trauma.
Wow.
And that's been found with women who are married to chronic porn users.
Wow.
Now, it doesn't mean that porn is going to cause betrayal trauma in every couple. It is different, and a lot of it depends on is he owning the issue? Is he looking to overcome this issue, or is he just trying to hide it and get away with
Right.
it? But yeah, like when there's betrayal trauma and when it hasn't been dealt with properly, because we have this terrible tendency to say about porn, well, as long as he repents and
Mm.
get someone to hold him accountable, everything will be okay. But we don't look at the roots of it. We don't look at, okay, why has he been turning to porn? What does this
Mm.
mean about how he sees women? But especially understanding that when people turn to porn, it's often to deal with something. It's a self-soothing technique.
Yeah.
You think about a 14-year-old who starts using porn, and they masturbate, they feel powerful, you get the flood of hormones, it feels good. And then the next time, you're cut from the basketball team and you feel lousy, and you don't want to feel lousy, so you turn to porn. And then one night you're bored and you don't want to be bored, so you turn to porn. And pretty soon you're
Mm.
finding that every time you have this quote unquote negative emotion, you bury it in porn, and
Wow.
so you never learn how to process your emotions.
Yeah. Wow.
And then you're an adult and you're in marriage, and there's money stresses and there's just relationship
Mm.
stresses, and what do you do when that happens? Well,
Turn to
you
porn.
Yeah.
report, because you've never figured out how to deal with things and work things through. And so it's
Wow.
not
Wow.
just a question of repenting, it's a question of actually maturing
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
and rebuilding into emotional health, because you've been hiding for so long. You've been hiding your
Mm.
emotions.
Mm.
And that causes a lot of shame, and there's all kinds of stuff going on there. And
Yeah.
and that can cause a lot of betrayal trauma in her, and it can cause a lot of emotional stuntedness in him, or vice versa if it's her that's using it.
Mm.
So yeah, these things really need to be dealt with, especially by a licensed therapist if something's that
Oh
big,
yeah.
because it's not. I'm not saying you shouldn't repent. Obviously, you should repent, but
Clearly.
it's not a magical
Yes.
formula.
That's right.
Yes. He
Yes.
doesn't just
Yeah.
They'll
stop.
just fix it all of a
Yeah.
sudden just
Right.
Yeah.
because you repented.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Well, that's really good.
That is good. That's
Yeah.
good. And that's deep.
It is.
Yeah. Okay, so we're gonna go into our alphabet advice.
So we're explaining what this is
Okay.
again, babe, because we've been away for a little while.
Yes, we
Our
have.
chimes might not even know that we do this because
it
it's
is
been like
new.
2 months,
It
you
is
know what I'm
still
saying,
new.
since we've been on the show.
So we end our show with something we call alphabet advice, where we ask you to give an encouraging word, one word,
Mhm.
to our
Mhm.
audience that starts with the letter. Tonight will be the letter E,
Mhm.
and it's supposed to
Mhm.
be a word that encourages and whatever you feel to end this show with that kind of fits the topic, but it doesn't
Right.
have to.
That's true.
But
You can
anyway,
say whatever you want.
yes, whatever you want, but
Yes.
encouraging alphabet advice. Go.
Letter E.
Okay. I have 2. Is it okay if I have 2?
Sure,
Yes.
because your
I
husband
think-
was supposed to be on.
Exactly.
So.
It would have been 2 in that
Okay.
situation anyway.
Well, the first one is a practical one, which is, I would just say, egalitarian or equal. You can use either of them.
Egalitarian.
Or
a
equal,
good one.
whichever. Like, think about sex as something where you both matter.
Yeah.
You both matter. And it's not
Yeah.
about any one person's needs. It's about making sure you both matter. And it's about helping each other really stoke passion.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, we want to live as joyful, passionate people together. So how can we get there? So just think about that. Like, it's not about just one person, it's about both of you together. So I would say that. The next thing that I would say is just enraptured. Don't you just want to be enraptured by one another? Like, isn't it
Absolutely.
beautiful? Yeah. So, just learn to open up, be vulnerable. Share something with your spouse you haven't shared before. Share a fear that you have, or a dream that you have that you've been afraid to tell anyone else. Like, just
Yeah.
open up, and you'll see your sex life bloom a lot more when we start sharing at a deeper level.
That is awesome.
Love that. Love
Wow.
that.
Those are 2 good words.
Yes, they are good words. They're
Yes.
good words.
Thank
Great
you, Sheila.
words to end.
Mm-hmm.
That was awesome. Thank you for being on the show.
Yes.
We are going to be praying for your granddaughter and her her leg and everything like that.
Yes, and you guys.
Yes, we're praying for
It's
you.
harder
and
for the parents.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Wait a minute. So your granddaughter, this thing just happened to her today.
Yeah, like 3 hours. Well, what time is it? Yeah, like on 5 hours ago, I guess. Yeah.
So those calls you were getting, that wasn't like updates on her? Like you weren't ignoring?
Yeah, but they're getting texts. I know what's going on.
Okay, good. Yeah,
Well,
your grandma's
thank you
gotta stay
so
in
much.
touch with
Even with what's going on, you came on.
Yes,
and we're
it's so
just
nice of you.
So grateful, and it's
Yes.
so good. We love what you guys are doing. Please continue to do this wonderful work.
I want to
And
show the book
somebody
right
just
now. I
said-
have it on the screen real
yes,
quick
yes,
just so
yes.
that people can see. The Good Guy's Guide to Great Sex is the one we just got finished reading, and they also have the Good Girl's
Good
Guide to
Girl's
Great
Guide.
Sex as well.
Yes.
Both books are available. They can get them on Amazon. I'm assuming that's where we got ours.
Yeah, so tell us where they can.
Yeah, anywhere. Amazon. If you go to baremarriage.com, which is my website, just BARE, baremarriage.com, you can find links to my podcast every Thursday, links to our books. We have an orgasm course, a libido course, so our courses are there, and my blog, everything. So yeah, just check to
That's great. I've watched your
baremarriage.com.
podcast a few times, and it's really good. Yeah, I enjoyed it. So.
Okay, hold on a second. www.baremarriage.com.
Yes.
I just
Okay,
put it
we
on the
just put
screen,
it up.
just so that people, if they're like not really, listening, they just have it on, on their phone in
They
the back.
can
They're
see
at
it.
work or something like that. Now they can see it and they can go there. So your blog is there. You're saying you said the
that's my blog.
orgasm course is here.
The
Yes.
libido course.
Libido course. That's
Yeah.
that's huge.
Yeah.
That
Okay.
is.
Well, we're excited. We're excited about all the things that you guys are doing, and we thank
Yes.
you for allowing us to be part of your. I don't know that we're officially anything with you, but we feel like we
I
feel
know,
like we
because
use your information
we
so
quote
much.
you often,
We feel like
so-
we're part of the
Awesome.
Gregoire family.
Yeah,
You know
we
what I'm
are.
saying?
We're part of the team. We're part of the
Awesome.
team.
Yeah.
And
So-
spreading
I
the
love it.
word.
Yes,
Spreading the word.
yes. We want to see couples that are believers. We want them to be enjoying sex the way we believe God intended it.
Yes.
And it's supposed to be about both of them, mutual, egalitarian, equal.
Mhm.
That's
You know what I'm
right.
saying?
Right.
We need to be enraptured, all
Exactly.
of that stuff.
Yeah.
So
That's
people are
awesome.
saying, enjoyed this. Sheila, you're doing a great work. All of those things. So our audience is happy about this episode.
Yes.
And they're enjoying it. So thank you again.
Awesome.
And tell your husband that we hope
Maybe we'll see him next
he'll
time.
feel better.
Yes. All right. Well, thanks so much.
Okay.
Have a
Thank
good
you.
night.
Take care.
All right. Wow. That was
That
great
was
once
great.
again.
Yes.
So I'm going to just say that the last time we had her on, I felt like the information that we dealt with in the Great Sex Rescue literally transformed the way that we even think about this stuff. And I felt like this book, it was in the same vein. And it
Yeah.
kind of pushed that same narrative forward. And I loved it.
It did. And I just feel like it gives us, I don't know, like the wording for things that we kind of feel or know, but we don't understand where they're coming from. But it
Right.
kind of gives us an understanding, a little
Yeah,
bit better of an
yeah,
understanding of what it
yeah.
is that we're thinking when
Right.
it comes to certain things.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah.
like the orgasm gap. Like
Right.
we know men orgasm more than women, but we have no explanation. We have, you
Right,
know what I'm saying? Like
right.
there was no.
Right.
But now we can think about it and talk about it in a different kind of way because now we know, oh, okay, well, the reason why it's like that because folk ain't messing with the clit. Let me stop. I'm just joking, y'all.
So we
I'm just
missed.
kidding.
I
I'm just
was
joking
glad
around.
to see this right here by Miss Straight Up No Chaser. John, April, Sheila, you're working towards undoing a lot of bad teaching from the church.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's
And I'm
definitely
telling you,
something
I
that
think
Greg
though
was
it
doing.
begins,
basically.
and we talk about this all the time. You have to get rid of the shame.
Yeah, you do.
That
It's a huge
is
part of it.
number one because if you have shame, you're not going to be able to talk about it at all. You're not going to be able to listen to it.
They just say you're funny, by the way.
Listen, I had to hold back all the jokes I had in my
Oh
head.
man, April she be wanting
I
to say
had to
all kind
hold
of
back
stuff.
because this was supposed to be a very serious conversation, so I couldn't get too crazy.
We
so,
missed you guys
know.
though, man, and I know it's been a long time.
No, it's
you know
been
what I'm saying?
long, and I don't want to say, "Well, we back." I ain't gonna say that.
Because then we have to actually be back next week and stuff like that
No,
too.
we're gonna be back. Are
We
we
might
gonna
be back next week. You know what I'm saying? I think so. I'm assuming
Y'all,
we'll
we
be back.
be working too hard.
Yeah, man, it's been a lot. You know what I'm
You know,
saying?
we want to just do this full time.
We do miss the chimes, though, tremendously.
So we can
And,
just be here to talk to the chimes.
Yeah, man.
You know?
That would be
That
nice.
wouldn't that be nice, babe?
That would be nice.
That'd be nice.
Yeah. One of these days.
So anybody out there want to give us a show? You know?
Yeah. One that could take away, pay us, actual money.
You
know. what I'm saying? Yeah. Do that.
We don't get paid that much right now, so
No.
it could be
Well,
kind.
it might even be that hard. That's
Exactly.
True. So,
Oh my goodness.
So what I was gonna say too, though, is, there were some interesting things in this book that I think made me, again, like, I never heard of betrayal trauma before.
Right. And vulnerability equals great sex. We talk about vulnerability all the time, but we talk about it when it comes to communicating and conflict resolution and that kind of thing.
Also response cycles. Response cycles is huge. This idea that the way that you get aroused and get to the point where you actually want to have intercourse, if the map looks different for each of you, that's going to make a difference. And I'm going to assume your libido's lower when in fact it's not that. It's just that I'm not pressing the right buttons to get you to the right place.
And let me tell you, that's crazy because I'm not trying to be, but when it comes to men and women, men aren't thinking that. You know what I'm saying? You
Right.
know what I'm saying? Like response cycles?
Right. I'm not thinking that at all.
No.
Right.
And what she said was such a good point. It actually then makes the woman feel like something's wrong with me.
Correct.
Because it must be that I am, my libido's low.
And he's enjoying it every time.
It always goes to her libido's low.
Right.
That's not necessarily primo. You know what?
First of all, hold on. Great
First of all-
topic. We got great topic here. Miss Straight Up No Chaser said, a shame. A lot of church teaching says sex is for the man. That's true. And yes, we might as well go ahead and just Team John, Team
There is
April.
no it's team.
Even though we
Team
had
Sheila
it's Team
and
Sheila.
Keith Gregoire.
That's true.
Okay,
You're right.
because she came on the show, even though her grandbaby
I-
broke her leg.
I couldn't believe she still came on
I
tonight.
know, that was so nice. So Primo,
really
be
nice.
quiet, cause
But thank you, Primo, for the
he come
Team
on at
John.
the end. He probably didn't even watch the show.
Here's what's funny. Okay, so right now, y'all know we have a green screen behind us, right? Clearly, because, we're not sitting in front of...
Yes, we are, babe. We are sitting in front of you.
Okay. So if I press Team John, Team April right now, the little graphic,
The
green screen will show up. You know what I'm saying? Do you want to see it real quick?
No, you can't show that because
Why not?
Because I told Primo they were not doing that.
We're not doing what? Team John, Team April?
Yeah.
We are doing it. And there we go.
Team April. Team
But now I
April.
got, this Capitol building right here.
Okay.
And I also have this one. Oh, wait, wrong one.
Are you
This one
really
right here.
going through
You know
all
what
the
I'm saying?
backgrounds? Man?
Yeah. So the point is, it's Team John tonight, even though we had a guest on. You know what I'm saying?
Wow. I'll give it to you since I've won multiple times in a row.
Have
So
you?
you can have this one with your one
Do we
vote
even
for
know?
Primo.
Do we
Come
even-
on, Madeline.
do
Say
we-
Team April, Madeline.
Do we even know?
I'll
It's
do
been
the
like
backhand
2
bounce
months
for
we've
you,
been
Madeline,
on
for the
here.
Team April. I'll even drive.
Some people be
Oh.
cheating. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? It's supposed to be based on the topic. You know what I'm saying?
And then we can
Oh,
both
my
get the
goodness.
bronze.
The bronze. Nah, I want the gold.
Babe, it was supposed to be.
I get it.
Okay, come on.
Jordan
That was supposed to be
Childs.
what comedians do. They go back to the beginning of the.
Yeah. Jordan Childs. I
Yeah.
give it.
Thank
you. We're glad to be back. And
Yay! Madeline said Team April. It's a tie.
Primo talking about put a golf course background. April Nixon won't know where she is.
Put a golf course in the background and have Primo 3-putt.
4-putt. Anyway, all right. So we got some other stuff lined up for you guys. We got some people that we
Ooh,
like.
I
Look
got
at all these
two.
Team
Oh, I
Aprils,
got
man.
3
Jackie
votes.
Mitchell
Yay!
and Abundant Living TV. You know what I'm saying?
Man, I got some great women out there.
Are these women just automatically just saying Team April because you're a woman? Is that what's happening?
No, they're saying it because it's true.
Is that why?
Yes.
I don't think
I
no.
won tonight.
I don't think there's anything to do with it.
Didn't she say serve your wife?
She did. I will serve
Exactly.
you.
Thank
In fact,
you, ladies.
I gotta
You
go.
know that's
I
what-
gotta go because it's time to serve my wife. So I'll see you guys.
Oh my goodness, TMI.
All right, we'll see y'all next week.
Bye, y'all.
Love y'all.
We miss y'all. We back. Maybe.